again, ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you to the 32nd Annual Huntsman World Senior Games Opening Ceremonies Banquet. I hope that you had a full day of golf and games hospitality for many of you, softball for others. I know that there's a number of athletes that are represented here as well. But I suspect with a full day of sports that you're hungry, and so as I said, we're going to go ahead and get started. We're grateful to Martin Peterson and his staff here at Dixie State University Food Services. This evening, Huntsman World Senior Games board member John Wonderly will go ahead and offer our invocation on the evening, as well as a blessing on the food. Earlier yesterday, we lost one of our Huntsman World Senior Games family members, Jack Searle. Jack loved the Huntsman World Senior Games and he loved softball. He competed in our tournament for 19 years. He was loved, and Jack will definitely be missed. Jack's son, Clint, as well as his brother, is here representing the family tonight, and we're grateful that his softball team could join us as well. We welcome them and express our sincere condolences for your loss. We ask that each of you keep a prayer in your hearts as they go through the grieving process, and we'll now have the invocation by John Wonderly. Thank you very much, John. Please be at your advantage and go ahead and start with your salad, and the plates will be delivered shortly. And just enjoy the evening, and we'll have some special introductions a little bit later. So just enjoy the evening. Thank you. Athletes, we will offer life-saving health screenings. We will make a difference in the lives of tens of thousands of individuals. Not only the athletes, of course they're affected, but also their family and friends whose lives are better because their loved ones are active and living, as we say, the active life and fully enjoying what life has to offer. And ladies and gentlemen, I think it's important that you recognize and remember and know that none of this would be possible without the people who are here in this room, our sponsors and our friends and our supporters of the Huntsman World Senior Games. So thank you so much for your assistance. Thank you for your help. Let's have a round of applause. I'm very pleased to welcome a few special guests tonight, and if you're here, will you please stand and be recognized. First, I'm pleased to welcome Lieutenant Governor Spencer Cox this evening. Mr. Cox, would you please stand and be recognized? You do have to stand. Thank you for being here. Representing Dixie State University, our host for tonight's proceedings, Dr. Michael LaCourse, who is over here. Thank you for being here and also for all that Dixie State does to help this event happen tonight. I'm pleased to recognize Mayor John Pike, the mayor of St. George City. I'm also very pleased to welcome Mayor Kenny Nielsen of Washington City. I'm happy to recognize Mr. Ben Shakespeare from the Santa Clara City Council. And very pleased to welcome and recognize County Commissioner Victor Iverson. Is Victor here? I don't know that I saw him come in. Is Zach Renstrom here? We heard that one or the other will be here, so maybe they're on their way. Also, is Pam Palermo here, our chamber president? Looks like maybe she's not here either. I would like to recognize and thank representatives from the National Senior Games Organizing Committee. I know that they are here. Would you please stand and be recognized? Over here on this table. We're also pleased to welcome our very good friends from Barbados, Mr. Ron Clark, as well as his guests. Please welcome Mr. Dwayne Tong, representative of the Qingdao Chinese Overseas Friendship Association, as well as our volunteer delegation. And finally, there's just a few other groups that I'd like to pay tribute to and to recognize. Would our current Hall of Fame inductees please stand? I know that there are a few of you that are here tonight. If you're being inducted into our Hall of Fame, don't be shy. You have to stand up. These individuals will be recognized and formally inducted into the Hall of Fame at a special ceremony tomorrow evening. Would the staff of the Huntsman World Senior Games please stand and be recognized? Let's have a big round of applause for these outstanding individuals. We're going to spend as much time together as we spend together, especially during this time of year. You get to know each other very well. And there is not a finer group of people anywhere. I very much love and appreciate working with each one of them. I also want to welcome the Board of Trustees of the Huntsman World Senior Games, and I know not everyone is here, but they put in enough work that I'd like to at least verbally recognize them. But if you are here, please stand. John Morgan, our president and founder. John, let's have a big round of applause for John Morgan. It's worth noting that the day after tomorrow is John's 95th birthday. The mayor just asked if we should sing to him. I was going to say that for the ceremonies, but I think it's worth singing twice. Mayor, would you lead us? reason why we're all here, and he's such an amazing and wonderful man, so it's fun to commemorate him and wish him a happy birthday. I will list the rest of the Board of Trustees. As I said, some are not here, but many are here. Let's hold our applause until the end, but please stand if you are here. John Romney is Vice President. Doug Lebron is Vice President. Lil Barrett is Secretary. And Steve Radmal is Treasurer. Mona Given is a board member. Kathy Thane is a board member. Dick Norse is a board member. Nancy Colarossi is a board member. Dick Nemelka is a board member. John Wonderly, who for our invocation, is a board member. Shelley Osterloh Young is a member of our board. And Christina Huntsman Durham is a board member. Let's have a round of applause for our board of trustees. And now it's my pleasure to introduce to you Michelle Graves, who will present those who played such a vital role in the success of the Huntsman World Senior Games. Michelle is our Director of Sponsor Relations. Many of you who were out on the golf course had a chance to spend some time with her today. She's fantastic. She takes good care of each of you and your needs, and she will be recognizing each of our sponsors, those, once again, who help make these games possible. Michelle.
Thank you, Kyle. It's such a great and rewarding night for me to look out and see all of you and look at so many friends and familiar faces. I really, personally, and in behalf of the games, appreciate so much. I could just get tearful. What you do to help us put this event on. We could not do it without you. You're an inspiration in philanthropy, in service to our community, and to an understanding of the importance of active aging and the movement that it is in the world. And we are so pleased that you have decided to be a part of this and represent the games in this way. I feel tearful. It's like Christmas today, so we're so grateful for you. I have a long list of people to thank, so if I can, I'll break it into a couple categories. I'll pause and we can applause after each category. We'll start with our white ribbon sponsors. Much of the community participates in helping us. We want to give thanks to Black Bear Diner, Boulevard Home Furnishings, Cliffside Restaurant, Caldwell Banker Premier Realty, Culver's Restaurant, Desert Coach RV, Dick's Sporting Goods, Dixie Elks Lodge, Elite Sports Apparel USA Incorporated, Ents Homes, Friends for Sight, Guru's Sports Bar and Grill, Lynn's Marketplace, Maggleby's, Nutrix LLC, Poncho and Lefty's Restaurant and Cantina, Port of Subs, Quilted Works, Ribbon Chop House, Rhodes Scholar DSU, Rice Pizza and Pasta, Slater Transport and Storage Incorporated, Spring Garden Senior Living, Summit Athletic Club, TDS, Temple View RV, the Falls Event Center, the Green Iguana Restaurant, the Shops at Zion, Tropic Ice, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, Twisted Noodle Cafe, Village Inn Restaurant. These are our white ribbon sponsors. Thank you. Our red ribbon sponsors are as follows. Aetna, Active Tents by Era Sports, Alsco American Linen, Andrus Transportation, Best Western Plus Abbey Inn, Brick Oven, Bullhead City Senior Games, Casablanca and Virgin River Resorts, Chick-fil-A, Enterprise Car Rental, Golden Corral, Holiday Inn, Jostens, Lonnie Boy's Barbecue at Prospector's Place, Outback Steakhouse, Pizza Pie Cafe, the Red Mountain Resort, Red Rock Bicycle Company, Repairl, Stately Pharmacy, Utah's Best Vacation Rental, and Vasio. These are our red ribbon sponsors. Blue ribbon sponsors: Alpha Graphics, City of Santa Clara, Hilton Garden Inn, Info West Incorporated, Ken Garf St. George Ford, Mega Pro Screen Print and Embroidery, Minky Couture Designer Blankets, PCS Communications Incorporated, Pepsi Beverage Company, Ramada Inn, St. George Express, St. George Resort Rentals, Tuacahn Amphitheater, and UVU Nursing Department. These are our blue ribbon sponsors. Bronze medal sponsors: AARP, Brigham Young University, Rio, Canyon Media Corporation, Cherry Creek Radio, Dixie State University, Highlands Incorporated, the George S. and Dolores Story Eccles Foundation, the Spectrum, and Washington City. These are our bronze medal sponsors. I feel blessed to have such a busy job. We're getting there. Silver medal sponsors: the Dixie Center, Intermountain Live Well Center, the Larry H. Miller Group, Sun River St. George, the Utah Sports Commission, Washington County Sports Commission. These are our silver medal sponsors. Gold medal sponsor, the City of St. George. Thank you, gold medal sponsor. And our principal sponsor of 31 out of our 32 years, we're pleased to have David Huntsman here to represent the Huntsman Family and Foundation. Principal sponsor, thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Michelle. It's like she said, there's some job security there, right? She has a wonderful group of people that she gets to work with every year, and we're so grateful to each of you for the incredible impact that you have, not only on an event, which you do, but on the lives of people, which is really what it's all about. So once again, thank you so much. The dreaded disease of cancer, you know that the Huntsman family truly is known the world over for their charity, for their kindness, for their compassion, for their humanitarian efforts and services that really have touched the lives of millions of people all around the globe. Most notably, as we know, the creation of the Huntsman Cancer Institute and Hospital at the University of Utah. We are so grateful to the Huntsman family, and we're grateful that David is here representing that family tonight. And I'd like to turn some time over to David for him to share some of his thoughts about the games and the involvement that his family has had over the past more than 3 decades.
Thank you, Kyle, Michelle, and all the people up here. What a great honor. I'm so excited to be here this evening. It really is a privilege and a great honor to be able to stand here and represent my family. There's certain times and there's certain places that I go that I just feel my Father's presence with me. I feel His guidance, I feel His love. This is one of them. Because I know how much He cared about the Huntsman World Senior Games. These games were very meaningful to Him. They were very important to Him. He cared about them deeply. So to be able to represent Him is a great honor. Let me just be honest. We're all here tonight because of John Morgan. John, in order for anything big to happen, it requires vision. It was John's vision that got all this going. You probably had no idea when you started, but we're grateful for you. I'm here tonight basically for 2 reasons. By far the most important reason is to thank our sponsors. And that's all of you. And I want to pay tribute and thank you. My dad started sponsoring these games. He became the principal sponsor about 30 years ago when he was about my same age. And And before he passed away, he said to me, he said, David, he said, I got him through the first 30 years. He said, you and the foundation have to get him through the next 30 years. And so, I don't know how long we'll support these games, but it's at least 30 more years. And so, all the rest of you that are sponsors, I hope you're on it for the long haul too. So I won't make you sign any 30-year contracts or anything. But I do want to pay tribute and thank you. These games would not be possible. Mayor Pike and all the other officials, St. George, and you maybe take this for granted, is a unique area. I don't know that there's another community that would organize and come together and do so much with so little and sponsoring games like this. I don't know that the Huntsman World Senior Games literally can take place anywhere other than St. George here, and I'm grateful for that. It's a great tribute to all of the people of this community down here, our organizers, who are just terrific, and our volunteers, who are numerous. It's a tribute to everyone in this area that these games go as smoothly as they do. My father was a very competitive person. How many of you had the opportunity to know him personally? You ever have it? There's a few of you here. He was very competitive. He loved competition. It drove him. It challenged him. It brought out the best of my father. And I remember growing up, my father would always challenge each of the children. He said, I'll take you on one-on-one, any sport of your choosing. And when you're able to beat me, that's when it's kind of a rite of passage that we have in our family. He didn't like to lose, and he would challenge us. I remember for the boys, it was kind of a rite of passage. It was kind of mandatory for us to be able to beat my father in a sport. And for our daughters, my sisters are very competitive too. We all took this challenge very seriously. I remember in 8th grade, I started running, and I quite enjoyed running. And as I ran more, I did pretty well. And at the end of my 8th grade year, I set a school record. We had a 1.5 mile cross-country course, and I was the first one to be able to do it in under 9 minutes. So I challenged my dad. I said, Dad, 1.5 miles, let's do it. And I knew that he was too busy with all the things he had going on to prepare himself, so it wasn't really fair. But I remember competing with my dad, and I just remember seeing how hard he tried, despite his inability to prepare properly, how hard he pushed himself. I thought he was literally going to die as he crossed the finish line there. He gave it everything he had. But I think that that's what he loves about these senior games, is it challenges people. It brings out the best in people. It inspires and lifts people to do things they otherwise wouldn't do. And that's what I think meant so much to EM. And all of the participants and all of the organizers and the sponsors and the people that do so much to make these games a wonderful success. If he was here, he'd simply just want to hug you and just say how much he loves you and appreciates you. And so on behalf of the Huntsman family, please know how much you mean to us and how grateful we are for your support. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, David. We love you and your family as well. Thanks for being with us tonight. Now, when you hear Dan Clark speak, there's several things that happen. You get the CEO of an international high-performance communication and leadership development company, a New York Times best-selling author, a Hall of Fame professional speaker, a university professor, an extreme adventurer, a gold record songwriter, an award-winning athlete, and the 2012 Utah Father of the Year, which is a pretty impressive resume, and that's pared back dramatically of all the amazing things that he has done. As one of the most in-demand speakers on the planet, Dan always delivers cutting-edge motivational stories and transformational training that always enlightens and inspires. In the last, let me just say this because this is really cool, and then I'm going to get out of your way. But in the last 30 years, Dan has spoken in all 50 states. He's spoken in 61 countries on 6 different continents to over 5,500 audiences and literally to millions of people. Sounds like the Huntsman World Senior Games in a lot of ways. But it is my pleasure to introduce to you Mr. Dan Clark.
I really had no idea what I was getting myself into in coming to the Huntsman World Games. And I started thinking of all the lessons of life that I've learned from those who are over 50 years of age. Famous story in our family, my grandmother started to walk 5 miles a day when she was 63. Walked 5 miles a day every day since she was 63. She's now 95 and we don't know where she is. This is really a family reunion, and I think we should charge our glasses. And toast Jack. Because we're all going to die, but not everybody truly lives. When I heard that he passed and they put his equipment at home plate and had a quick, spontaneous memorial service celebrating this man, this giant of a friend who did what he wanted to do, I only dream of that experience. Hear, hear. So in the 4.5 hours that I've been asked to speak tonight, let me just qualify my observation that this truly is a family reunion. I went to high school with John Morgan's daughter, Victoria, who he now calls Vicatoria, because she was the CEO president of the Cincinnati Ballet when I knew her. She was an elegant, amazing ballerina, and now she's the creative director. When I first started my speaking career, my good brother Dick Norris, he had been battling cancer, and he narrated my very first slideshow, if you will, as we took our high school assembly to not only the state of Utah, but I was invited into the Nancy Reagan White House. I had a chance to take her Just Say No program to all 50 states. So between 1983 and 1989, we spoke to over 6 million teenagers and showed that slideshow / video with Dick Norris's voice behind our slides and our video. And I haven't seen you for so many years, good brother. It's so good to see you. I suppose I should call you cousin Michael Binion, if you can wave. Michael Binion's grandfather is Mervyn S. Binion, who received the Medal of Honor, the Congressional Medal of Honor. He was the commanding officer of the USS West Virginia, who died at Pearl Harbor December 7th, 1941, a true American hero. And his grandson is here. It's so good to see you, Michael. C.J. Francis, who's done so much in every capacity, not only with the Larry H. Miller Group, but for God. And to see him participate and to come down and hit the golf ball around today a little bit. I understand that you lost a couple of balls in the ball washer, so I won't talk about your game. But for those of you who think you had a tough year, I'm not a real good golfer. I love golf, but I had my ball retriever re-gripped last year. I've authored 34 books, and I've got 2, I think they're forthcoming international bestsellers just on my golf experience. My first book is called How to Line Up Your 5th Putt. My second book is the sequel, Awesome Second Shots Off the Ladies' Tees, and some of you who are sponsors know exactly what I'm talking about. So I want to publicly thank Sunbrook for being one of the sponsors here. I also want to have a shout out to Red Mountain Resort. Have any of you ever stayed at this magnificent place? It's where my beautiful wife and I are staying. They're a sponsor. Towels in my room are so fluffy, I'm having a hard time getting my suitcase closed. I don't know if you find out when you travel. When you check out tomorrow after I speak to the Chamber of Commerce luncheon, I hope they don't see the robe underneath my jacket, because it's a wonderful, wonderful place. My whole point of being here tonight is to pay tribute to the sponsors. But we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Mr. Morgan's vision, as David Huntsman shared, and without the Huntsman family. I have a close relationship with John Sr. and John Jr. Next door neighbors to my brother, and David lives next door to my nephew and his beautiful wife. My wife is dear friends with David's sister, Christina. Then in my last book called The Art of Significance, John Huntsman Sr., after a lot of begging, gave me a little blurb, a little recommendation for the back cover. And of all the individuals I've had a chance to meet in my life, John Huntsman stands taller than anyone else. As a devout member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, John Huntsman Sr. donated more to Catholic charities with a personal invitation to meet with the Pope. John Huntsman Sr. stepped up when Armenia experienced that brutal earthquake all those years ago and teamed up with his business partner, Armin Hammer, and single-handedly funded a cement or concrete manufacturing plant to employ those of Armenia. The things that the Huntsman family do in Utah are obviously visible, but the things you will never see are the reason why we're here, to celebrate excellence. Because I'm a storyteller, and just share a couple of stories and then conclude by lip-syncing 3 Britney Spears songs so you'll never be the same. There's a young lady here by the name of Jody Warner Wagner, who's sitting in the back. She was a young girl when I used to scratch and sniff around her house, taking out her older sister, whom I obviously did not marry. Seeing her tonight, I suppose in your eyes I can see that you honestly thought that 7th grade was going to be my senior year. And I'm glad I could surprise you. I also know the Wagner family, John and Carol, Tom. I honor you again as a family reunion. My simple message tonight is twofold. Number one, time really does matter. My question to all of us this evening, especially those of you who have stepped up as sponsors, who have now committed for the next 30 years, do you believe that this Huntsman Senior Games can change our lives forever? Proof is in the pudding. Do you believe that one moment in time can change our lives forever? That one competition, one inning, one at-bat, one opportunity to compete at the highest levels, especially when we're getting older, does it matter and can it change our lives forever? Absolutely proof. I was on the program with Henry Winkler, the Fonzie from Happy Days, clearly one of the funniest guys I've ever met. He and I finished our speeches. He decides he wants to take some time off, treat himself to a matinee movie. So he slides in through the side exit door of the theater. And as Henry Winkler shuffles himself through the aisle, he finds himself a vacant seat. As Henry Winkler turns to sit down in the chair to look up at the movie screen, the little girl sitting right behind him smiles this giant smile. She points her finger and she slowly says, "Fonzie." Henry Winkler immediately snaps at the Fonzie character from Happy Days. "Hey, whoa." And the lady sitting next to the little girl passes out. Henry Winkler milks the moment. "Whoa, I thought this only happened on TV drama. Hey, how cool is this?" Well, theater manager comes out and takes care of the woman's needs. She's lying in the aisle, cold pack on her forehead. She's asked one question: "Why did you pass out?" She said, "My little girl is autistic." And that is the very first word she has ever spoken in her entire life. We know the impact of one competition. We know the impact of one moment in time. And now we're here for 2 weeks to celebrate each other's lives amongst older folks like us who refuse to let life get the best of us, who will always rise no matter how many times we're knocked down, who will remind me about the spirit of those of us who are over 60. Especially my dear sweet mother. We just celebrated her 90th birthday. She was in my audience a short time ago, sitting in the front row. She hasn't been in my audience for a long time, so I acknowledged her. I introduced her to the audience. Everybody was so gracious, and I said, "My mom at 90 still inspires everyone with whom she comes in contact." The other day, she goes to the doctor for her annual physical examination. The doctor says, "Ruby, you need more exercise," so she signed up for an aerobics class for seniors. And sure enough, she bent over, jumped up and down, twisted and turned, perspired for over an hour. But by the time she got her leotard on, the class was over. And my mom's on the front row. "That's not funny. That's not true." attending several of the events yesterday. And when we arrived at the men's doubles competition in tennis, seeing 80-year-old men diving for balls, it inspires us all. And going to the Washington Center to honor you, Ken Nielsen. Your hair has not moved since 1977. You epitomize getting older does not have to take its toll. You look phenomenal for 85. I just want to pay tribute to the Washington Center. These elderly women getting in their gym bags, pulling out things that I can't talk about, to participate at the highest level and compete in basketball inspires us all. So may I just conclude to tie a bow around our time together again, to honor the teammates of Jack, his family, and to put it into perspective. I've ridden a Harley Davidson for many, many years, and my favorite all-time marketing billboard was a Harley Davidson billboard that simply said, if you have to explain it, they wouldn't understand. And I have to admit, we had no idea what we were in for coming to St. George to watch and participate and feel the spirit of the senior games. Thank you for your sponsorship. Sometimes words get in the way. To tie a bow around our time here and to turn it back over to our friend and champion, Kyle. Let me just share a 30-second vignette that in my mind puts a bow around everything we're about, and at the same time pays tribute to Jack and our heartfelt condolences and celebration all in the same breath. The story is simple. A mother encourages her daughter to come home as soon as school is over. The time comes, the time goes. 30 minutes later, daughter walks in through the front door of her home and her mother scolds her. Where have you been? I've been worried sick. She says, oh, Mommy. I walked my friend Sally home. She dropped her doll on the sidewalk. It broke all to pieces. It was awful. Her mother said, so you're late because you stayed to help her friend pick up the pieces of the doll and put it back together again? She said, oh no, Mommy, I didn't know how to fix the doll. I just stayed to help her cry. Not just tears of sadness, but tears of joy and victory, especially after we see the competitive juices start flying. In August, tribute to John Huntsman Senior's competition, and then to see them embrace and look forward to the social event where that competition suddenly becomes a family reunion. God bless the Huntsman family. God bless each of you as sponsors for seeing the vision of what we need to do to remind one another who are on the other side of 50 that life is only beginning. We're not retired, we're refired. Thanks for having me here.
You see what we're talking about, right? You see what we're talking about. You'll have the opportunity to hear more from Dan later on at the opening ceremonies. You know, there's an axiom, maybe a cliche that people say, we save the best for last. Well, I want to use that, not in the cliche way, but I want to use it in the sincere way. And I would like to let you know that tonight is a very special night for me because it's the first time in about a month and a half I've got to eat dinner with my wife. And I would like to recognize and express my love and appreciation to Mindy. She is phenomenal, just a fantastic support, and I love her. I love you, Mindy. So, at this point, what I'd like to do is release the head table to the photo area. So if you guys would make your way over to the photo area. I was speaking about the opening ceremonies and the chance that we're going to have to get to hear more of Dan. There's going to be a tremendous, amazing, fantastic show tonight. So please plan on joining us down at the ceremonies. There are two options that are available to you to get down to the ceremonies tonight. If you'd like to catch a shuttle, we do have a free shuttle that is available, and the parking lot corner on 300 South and 700 East, there is a shuttle bus stop right there, or if you can catch a shuttle. If you'd like to just take the second option, which is just a brisk walk down straight south from where we are, then within a block and a half or 2 blocks, you'll be at Trailblazer Stadium, where the ceremonies will take place. While the head table is making their way over, I thought you might find it interesting to to know a couple of things. This year, as I mentioned at the beginning, the Huntsman World Senior Games celebrates 32 years of fostering worldwide peace, health, and friendship. That's something that we feel very strongly about. When it's all said and done, we will have hosted over 11,000 athletes. And again, to put that in perspective, because what do those numbers mean? We will be, if history holds true, we will have more athletes compete in the Huntsman World Senior Games than competed in the Rio Olympics. And that is pretty cool. That is pretty cool. These athletes come from all 50 of the United States. We have 32 different countries represented this year. And 3 of those countries are brand new to the Huntsman World Senior Games. So we're excited to welcome athletes from Belgium, from St. Kitts and Nevis, and from Turkey for the first time to the Huntsman World Senior Games. I think that's what it is truly going to be a phenomenal year this year. And again, thank you to each of you for the part that you played. Now I'd like to invite all representatives of our medal sponsors, our gold, silver, and bronze medal sponsors, to join the head table in the photo area. Again, that's all gold, silver, and bronze medal sponsors. And then, ladies and gentlemen, we will now adjourn to Trailblazer Stadium for the opening ceremonies. Thank you so much.